I would like to address all those in Russia, or from Russia, who have failed to say a few words to condemn this terror, even now, even though they perfectly see and know everything. Your cowardly silence, your attempt to wait out what is happening, will only end with the same terrorists coming to get you one day. Evil is extremely sensitive to cowardice. Evil always remembers those who feared it or tried to bargain with it. When they try to get you, there will be no one to protect you.
For more, we can cross to Kyiv and speak to our correspondent, Gulliver Cragg. Gulliver, what's the latest on these rescue operations in Dnipro?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that those words of Volodymyr Zelensky, I think, really resonate with a lot of Ukrainians. Again and again, Ukrainians are simply shocked and appalled at the lack of reaction that they see coming from Russian society. Even Russians who claim to be in opposition to Vladimir Putin very rarely seem to speak out condemning these kinds of attacks, and that is absolutely something that does not go unnoticed in Ukraine and is feeding an ever-growing, I think, feeling of hatred towards all Russians. You know, they don't just want to blame Vladimir Putin and his clique. So you can see why Volodymyr Zelensky chooses to pinpoint that and talk about that in his address. As to the latest on the attack, well, currently the death toll stands at 30, but as you said, there are many more people still trapped in the rubble, and the mayor of Dnipro, Boris Filatov, thinks that it's highly unlikely that any of them will have managed to have survived 2 nights in sub-zero temperatures. I was listening to Boris Filatov on the radio yesterday. Obviously, he has become quite a wealthy man in the course of his career, but he actually grew up in that very area where the strike was, and so he was saying that he knows a lot of people there, and obviously, it's hit him even more emotionally than it might have done perhaps otherwise. And he was talking also about the incredible solidarity of the people of that neighborhood of Dnipro. He said that the city hall put in place tents for people to warm up in, and offered various forms of accommodation solutions for people who might be looking for accommodation. And he said there was no take up on it whatsoever because everybody was just being helped out by their friends and neighbors. He also commented, Boris Filatov, on the attack itself and whether or not the building was deliberately targeted. And what he said, and I've heard this analysis shared also by other military experts, is that they may have been aiming for part of Ukraine's electricity infrastructure. There's a power station just across the river from there, but they used a hypersonic missile that has an accuracy of within a range of 4 kilometers. And so what people are saying is that clearly, even if they were aiming at the power station, they absolutely knew that they might miss and didn't care if they hit a residential building instead.
And Gulliver, meanwhile, on the battlefield, Ukraine is still refuting Russia's claims that they've taken the eastern salt mining town of Soledar. What's your sense of the current situation there?
Well, the sense is that the vast majority of the territory of the town of Soledar has come under Russian control. There's a Ukrainian soldier there who keeps posting videos. He goes by the nom de guerre of Magyar. In his latest video, though, he's still insisting that the Ukrainians are still holding out because, he says, one point at the western end of the town, the Ukrainian flag is still flying there. Ukrainian officials are absolutely adamant that as long as that is the case, they do not have to say that Soledar has fallen. The fight is still going on, and I think that they are hoping that they may win back control of the town swiftly. And what they are also placing great emphasis on at the moment is the fact that they continue to block Russian attacks to go further and to use their successes, if that's the right word for them, in Soledar to move further, pushing towards Bakhmut.
All right, Gulliver, thank you very much for that update. That's our correspondent in Kyiv, Gulliver Cragg.